Once you know what type of AI client you're talking to, signing them becomes 10 times easier than anything you've tried before. The problem is that most people use the exact same pitch on everyone and then wonder why nobody is buying. Well, in this video, I'm going to break down the 4 types of AI clients you're going to encounter, and I will show you exactly how to adjust your approach so each one of them says yes. And make sure you stay until the end because I've put together a free blueprint that shows you the best client acquisition channels for signing AI clients right now. So here's what happens to most people when they start trying to sell AI services. They come up with one pitch, one angle, one way of explaining what they do. And then they use that exact same script on every single person they talk to. Sometimes it works and they think they figure it out. And then the next 5 conversations go absolutely nowhere and they have no idea what changed. The thing that changed is that they were talking to a completely different type of person, and the message that worked on the first one was never going to land on the others. Every business owner you're going to talk to has a different relationship with AI. Some of them are excited about it. Some of them have been burned by it. Some of them don't even think it applies to what they do. And if you walk into every conversation with the same energy and the same talking points, you're going to lose people that you absolutely could have signed if you just approached them differently. This is the thing that separates people who close consistently from people who feel like sales is a total guessing game. It's not about having a better offer or being more persuasive. It's about reading the room and knowing exactly what the person sitting across from you actually needs to hear. And the fix for this is actually simpler than you would think. There are really only 4 types of AI clients out there, and once you learn how to identify which type you're dealing with, the entire sales conversation changes because you know exactly what angle to take. I've talked to hundreds of business owners at this point, in conferences, in online communities, on sales calls, in casual conversation, and the patterns are always the same. Every single one of them falls into one of these 4 categories, and each category needs a completely different approach. Let me walk you through all 4 right now. The first type is what I call the skeptic. This is the business owner who knows AI exists, they've seen the headlines, they've heard people talking about it, but deep down, they genuinely don't believe it applies to their business. They will say things like, my industry is different, or we've been doing things this way for 20 years and it works just fine. This is the hardest type to sell because you're not just selling a service, you're selling them on the entire idea that AI is even relevant to what they do. The way you approach the skeptic is by making the return on investment so specific and so undeniable that they can brush it off as hype anymore. We don't talk about AI in general terms, you don't throw any buzzwords, and you definitely don't try to impress them with technology. Instead, you found the one area in their business where AI would save them the most time or money, and you put a real number on it, something concrete that they can actually picture impacting their bottom line. When a skeptic finally gets it, they tend to go all in because they realize how much they've been leaving on the table, and those end up being some of your best long-term clients. The second type is the curious, and this is by far the most common one you're going to run into. This is the business owner who was already interested in AI. They've probably tried ChatGPT a few times, maybe they've watched some videos about it, but they're completely overwhelmed and have no idea where to actually start. The good news is that you don't have to convince this person that AI is valuable. They already believe that. The problem they're dealing with is that there's so many tools and so many possibilities that the whole thing feels paralyzing, and they end up doing nothing because they can't figure out the right first step. Your entire job with the curious is to simplify everything and give them a clear path forward. You don't show up with a massive proposal or a complicated breakdown of 15 different things you could implement for them. You listen to what they're dealing with, you identify the one thing that would make the biggest immediate difference, and you say, here's exactly where we start and here's what it's going to do for you. That clarity is the thing they've been looking for, and when you're the person who finally provides it, closing them becomes one of the easiest conversations you will ever have. Now, the third type is the burned, and this one requires a completely different energy. This is the person who already tried AI in some form. Maybe they bought a tool that nobody on their team ended up using. Maybe they hired someone who overpromised and under-delivered. Or maybe they ran a pilot project that just didn't produce any real results. They're skeptical, but it's not the same kind of skepticism as the skeptic. This person already believes AI can work, they just don't believe it's going to work for them because they've already been let down. The worst thing you can do with the burned is come in with big promises, because that's exactly what the last person did, and it's the reason they got burned in the first place. What you need to do instead is slow down and actually diagnose what went wrong the first time before you propose anything new. Ask them what they tried, ask them the experience was like, ask them why they think it didn't work out. When you take the time to understand their specific situation, you can reframe your approach as fundamentally different from whatever failed before. And that's how you rebuild the trust that someone else broke. And then there's the fourth type, which I call the ready. This is the business owner who's already fully convinced that they need AI. They've probably already set aside a budget for it, and they're actively looking for the right person to help them implement it. This is the rarest type you will encounter, but when you do find one, it's the easiest close you will ever going to get. The only thing you need to do with the ready is not overcomplicate it. Be clear about what you offer, be confident in how you present it, and make it easy for them to say yes. Don't overthink the pitch, don't add unnecessary steps to the process, and don't try to oversell them on something they've already sold on. Just present the offer cleanly, answer their questions directly, and let them move forward. So whenever you're pitching your AI services to someone, keep in mind that there's no single pitch that works on every business owner, and the sooner you stop looking for one, the faster your close rate is going to improve. The real skill in selling AI services isn't about being the most persuasive person in the room, it's about figuring out which type of client you're talking to in the first few minutes and then adjusting your entire approach to match what that specific person needs to hear. Once you start doing that, conversations that used to feel like hitting a wall are suddenly going to start turning into signed clients. So here's what you need to take away from this video. Every AI client falls into one of four types: the skeptic, the curious, the burned, or the ready, and each one needs a completely different approach if you want to close them. Once you learn to identify which type you're talking to, selling becomes a whole lot easier because you always know what to say and when to say it. Now, if you want the full blueprints on the best channels for actually finding these clients, I put one together for you, and it's completely free inside my community called The Shift. The link is in the description. And if you're still figuring out what AI business model to go with in the first place, I made a video that breaks down the entire AI partnership model step by step. And I will link that one right here so you can watch it next. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to grab your free blueprints inside my free community, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.